Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Glories to Prabhupada, my obeisances to you and to all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, if I'm not wrong, we will continue Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22, 132 verse.
Yeah.
Today is also auspicious day of Ishwar Puri disappearance day. So, just wanted to.
Yeah, I didn't prepare myself for that lecture, so I can say a few things about Ishwar Puri at the end, and then, but to give a whole lecture, I would have to spend some time getting some.
Sure, Guru Maharaj, sure. So I will share my screen, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, let me do something on my screen here for a minute, and I'm going to see if I can go find something from Ishwar Puri here. Then let me see, where is it? Okay. See if I have something on Ishwar Puri. I might. Tell you in a minute.
Also in India, I think like we celebrated Ekadashi yesterday, but I think in India, devotees are celebrating Ekadashi today, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, and where I am, we're celebrating the Ekadashi today.
Oh, Jai.
Yesterday was London. Europe is today. Let's see here. I don't have enough information to give a full class on it, but I can talk from memory. But let's do the verse and then we'll split up between those two.
Sure, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. Okay, so let's see here. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Namak Sankirtanam Sriman Mathura Mandale Stiti. Translation: one should congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavan. Purport: Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung, Sri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Ye Jana Chintamani Tara Hara Rajabhumi Vas. One who understands the transcendental nature of Navadvip and its surrounding area, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted his pastimes, resides always in Vrindavan. Similarly, living in Jagannath Puri is as good as living in Vrindavan. Conclusion is that Navadvip Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, and Vrindavan Dham are identical. However, if one goes to Mathura Mandala Bhumi for sense gratification or to make a livelihood, he commits an offense and is condemned. Whoever does so must be penalized in the next life by becoming a hog or a monkey in Vrindavan. After taking on such a body, the offender is liberated in the next life. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that residing in Vrindavan with a view to enjoy sense gratification surely leads a so-called devotee to a lower species. Om Gyan Timidandasya Gunanjana Savakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya Desatarine Panchakalpa Tarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Pevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. One should congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavan. This is ideal, and many devotees have taken that up literally, have gone to Vrindavan and there engaged in devotional service. Vrindavan is non-different than Krishna. Vrindavan is Krishna's place of pastimes in this material world. It is non-different than the Vrindavan in the spiritual world. One is manifested and one is unmanifested. Sometimes the unmanifested becomes manifested and it appears in the material world as Vrindavan Dham, which is a prototype or a exact replica of the spiritual world. Vrindavan Dham is not material in any way. It is simply because Krishna's lotus feet have touched every place in Vrindavan. The dust of Vrindavan can give one love of God. As it says, these three places, Navadvip Dham, Jagannath Puri Dham, Vrindavan Dham, are identical. In Vrindavan Dham, one can achieve love of God simply by taking the dust of Vrindavan and smearing it all over their body. Because that dust is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore it's non-different than the Lord. And now with Vigdam, one can achieve perfection in devotional service through congregational glorification of the Lord by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is Lord Chaitanya's mercy upon the world, Sri Harinam Sankirtan. And in Jagannath Puri Dham, one can achieve perfection by taking the remnants of food offered to Lord Jagannath, Jagannath Prasad. Jagannath Prasad is as powerful as Lord Jagannath himself. Those of you who have experienced that will know what I'm speaking about. When you eat Jagannath Prasad, you feel like you have attained self-realization. And there's different level of Jagannath Prasad. That prasadam that comes directly from Jagannath's plate, that's what we're referring to. Not just the prasad that is extrally cooked. That's nice, it's also powerful, and it's also Jagannath Prasad. But dragon right from Jagannath's plate is the prasadam that we are referring to here, that will give one pure love of God. Lord Chaitanya is Patita Pavan. He is most manifested in his merciful incarnation as Gaur Nitai, both Nityananda and Gauranga. Rajendra Nandana Yayat Sachi Sutta Hoilo Se, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. That same Balaram and Krishna from Sri Vrindavan Dham performed their transcendental pastimes in so many different ways with their devotees, have now reappeared as Sri Gaur Nitai. Sometimes people say, well, Lord Nityananda is an incarnation of Balaram. That is incorrect. It's not correct to say that. It's actually offensive to say that. Lord Nityananda is Balaram come again in a different form. That's all. When you understand that, then you understand that these two brothers, or Nitai, are Krishna Balaram, reappearing in two different forms. That's all. It's not an incarnation, manifestation, expansion. It is them and just another form of them. That's all. That's how it's understood correctly according to Tattva. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated the Sankirtan movement. Here it says one should congregationally chant the holy names of the Lord. Some of us like to chant the holy names in congregation. Some of us like to do japa, and some of us like to do both, and some of us don't see the difference between one or the other. We should understand that both are required in the process of self-realization. Lord Chaitanya also chanted japa on his beads, and he would also count his rounds, and he would also make that a regular daily affair. But for spreading the Sankirtan movement to the society at large, he did congregational glorification of the Lord, and went out in public to chant and dance and spread Krishna consciousness in that way. In that way, people came and also took part in the chanting and dancing and became spiritualized and benefited from that. We should also attend kirtans regularly. It's not that we should just simply chant japa and stay home and not visit the temple or not go to the kirtans. There is no reason for that. We should become enthusiastic. Some of us think maybe it's dancing is a little bit outside of my mood of activity. But Prabhupada said anyone can dance. They can just stand there with their hands up in the air over their head and move their feet from side to side. That is called the Swami step. It's available. Everyone can do it. It's also dancing. And there's those who like to get more exuberant in their enthusiastic like display of devotion and dance a little bit more. But either way, we should take this chanting and dancing because this chanting and dancing is coming from the spiritual world. As it says that in Vrindavan, all talking is singing, all walking is dancing, and the constant sound is Krishna's transcendental flute, which causes people to sing and dance automatically and go into ecstasy. So this kirtan should be done around our movement. We have many programs for doing that. In our temples on the Sunday program, there's always the Sunday kirtan program. Usually it's Gaur Arti or a kirtan. Sometimes it's even more. And so we should go and take part in these kirtans, and let's not simply remain at home and watch television or whatever else we do. This chanting and dancing is the highest form of spiritual expression. It connects directly with Krishna, and at the same time, it's very joyful. Susukam kartam avyayam, like that. So this is our process to sing and to dance, and if one can reside in Vrindavan, that's ideal. Here Prabhupada admonishes people who come to Vrindavan for the wrong reason. And that goes on today. If you go to Vrindavan, you'll see people come to take advantage of the pilgrims who go there and set up businesses and make money off them. You can't blame for those who are Brijavasis who live in Vrindavan, who were born in Vrindavan, that's one thing. But to go there and to franchise and try to find some material gain coming to Vrindavan, the penalty is that one will become a hog and a monkey, or a hog or a monkey in Vrindavan next life. In one sense, it's not such a bad penalty because after living that body as a hog and monkey, the hogs eat the dust of Vrindavan, the monkeys roll in the dust of Vrindavan, then of course in their next life, then they're liberated. But it's not recommended that one go through that system because it says they take up this lower species. And nobody really likes the monkeys or the hogs in Vrindavan. Usually the monkeys, they steal everything. They've been taught to steal. It's not that the monkeys do that. Of course, they steal food. There are many devotees have been walking in Vrindavan after going to the grocery store and have been attacked by a gang of monkeys, and they take all their food. And if you don't give it to them, they'll rip it away from your hands anyway. So some of these monkeys are quite fearful. I was on Parikram in Vrindavan, and one enthusiastic person came up to the Parikram and paid his obeisances to me. And when he got up to put his shoes back on, the shoes were gone. I felt a little bad that he lost his shoes because he paid his obeisances. But that's what happens. And they take your shoes or your glasses and then they resell it back to you for some food or some trade. And these monkeys are very intelligent. They're not just ordinary monkeys. So yeah, but if one can live in Vrindavan, then the goal of living in Vrindavan is ultimately to serve the Dham. By serving the Dham, one is serving the residents of Dham by engaging in devotional service and engaging others in devotional service. That is a life in Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham is controlled by Srimati Radharani. She's Vrindavaneshwari. She controls Vrindavan Dham, and she allows certain people to come, and she prevents others from coming. And she will also remove people from Vrindavan Dham if they are not pleasing to Vrindavan Dham. In other words, if they're not up to the standard, she makes arrangements for them to get removed from Vrindavan Dham. She is the supreme controller of Vrindavan. Today is also the disappearance day of Ishwara Puri, who was the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. Once Chaitanya reached a certain age, he left Navadvip and went to Gaya. There he met his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri. It says that when Lord Chaitanya was in one particular temple, one Vishnu temple, and was worshipping there, this great personality whose name was Ishwara Puri appeared. Upon seeing Ishwara Puri, Lord Chaitanya understood that this is a very special soul. And so, and at the same time, Ishwara Puri also recognized Lord Chaitanya as being very special. So after there was an initial exchange, there was a meeting later on, and Ishwara Puri came to see Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya immediately fell at his feet and explained that the goal of life is to have a spiritual master, and I can see that there is no other spiritual master other than your divine grace. And then he started to glorify Ishwara Puri in so many beautiful ways. Ishwara Puri, to become the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, obviously is not something small. That is that personality obviously is a great soul. And so the Lord actually begged, and Ishwara Puri granted him and gave him initiation. And then the Lord returned to Navadvip. After the Lord came back from Gaya, after returning to Navadvip Dham, the Lord was completely different. He now was talking about Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, worshiping Krishna, and having kirtan. And then these kirtans, what is one kirtan at the house of the Shringa? What was his name? The Shringa. The Shringa Brahmachari, I think his name was. Yeah. There's a beautiful description right after the Lord returned from Gaya. And Gadadhar Pandit came to see the Lord at this particular time. And there's a beautiful kirtan where the Lord is chanting and dancing and exhibiting his ecstasy in love of God. And this is one of the first times that devotees had actually seen that, because before then he was Nimai Pandit, the arrogant scholar, after meeting Ishwara Puri. And this is very instructive to us that tad guru, tad vigyaram gurum avigachte, tad vigyartam Gurum Abhigache, that this statement from the Upanishads, which says that one must accept a spiritual master. It's not optional. One must accept Krishna's representative, a living spiritual master, take shelter, serve, eventually become initiated, and take guidance from the spiritual master on how to execute devotional service, and ultimately reach the goal of life, which is pure love of God. It's not optional. A spiritual master is not an optional thing. Well, sometimes people say, well, I have a direct relationship with Krishna. Why do I have to have someone in between? That's true. You do have a direct relationship. But because of our association with the material energy, we cannot access that direct relationship. Therefore, we need to connect that through Krishna's representative. And Krishna's representative is the mercy manifestation of Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants for that devotee can be understood by the living representative that he appears in the material world, and that is his bona fide spiritual master. So to become, to take the Diksha as one of the samskaras, it's called Upanaya Samskara. Of course, that's Brahminical initiation, but still it indicates that one should take initiation into the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And therefore, one can then make progress in devotional service because one is guided by Krishna through his spiritual master. Otherwise, we can follow the process without having a spiritual master, but you don't get the personal guidance that you need. Will be very hard to access, and at the same time, if you simply read the books and without understanding how to apply that knowledge, and therefore it says that one should approach the spiritual master, tad vidi patipartena pariprasyena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnaninas tattvadarshanaha. So in that verse spoken by Krishna in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he gives 3 principles that he enunciates as the way that one should approach the spiritual master. Pratipatena, pariprasyena, and sevaya. Pratipat means to fall flat like a rod. In other words, to offer humble obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Pariprasyena means to inquire from the spiritual master what is the goal of life and how to reach it. And sevaya means to offer some service or to be directed and follow that direction and offer service. These 3 principles, or three functions, we might say, are fundamental to the relationship between disciple and guru. And the guru is a mercy manifestation of the Lord. He is by nature very kind. He's always trying to see how he can help his disciples make progress in devotional service. The disciples think that they don't need any instructions, therefore they never ask. And they always go on thinking, well, I'm initiated, I got my Maha Mantra, and therefore I'm okay, I'm cool. But it mentions that the spiritual master should be regularly consulted to see how to make progress in devotional service, because material energy is very powerful. Srila Prabhupada would speak about that in a very direct way by saying, the problem with you Western disciples is you don't fear Maya enough. Because we don't have a healthy fear, and I use the word healthy, meaning that fear that will bring one to the stage of understanding more clearly how to overcome the challenges that come by way of living in this material world, the attachments, the challenges, the reverses. So practically in every field of life, you find there is a teacher that teaches that subject matter. When we attend universities or any school, subject matters are taught by a teacher. And so therefore we get the subject matter from those who know it. So the subject matter of how to worship the Lord and how to extricate ourselves from the entanglement of material energy is understood by the spiritual master. And then one can make progress in devotional service by carefully hearing from the spiritual master, asking relevant questions, and learning how to apply the answers to those questions in a practical way in our devotional life. So the most important thing is pariprasyena, means that we should inquire regularly and understand and make progress in devotional service. Maya will enter into your consciousness and tell you all kinds of things that you think are your own ideas. That is Maya. She knows. Maya is very subtle and very expert. She knows exactly how to dictate to you what you think is Krishna consciousness, but actually it's not. She's very expert at that. And therefore we see a lot of people thinking they're okay in Krishna consciousness. After some time, they become less and less enthusiastic and start taking up other activities, thinking that these other activities are as important as their spiritual activities. Okay, so Lord Chaitanya, he is Krishna himself. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't need a spiritual master. He is the spiritual master of all spiritual masters. But he comes in the role of a devotee, and what does he do? He accepts a spiritual master. Accepts two spiritual masters. When he got sannyasa initiation, he also went through that process also with Keshava Bharati. So he's teaching by example that one should follow this process of devotional service and by getting guidance from Krishna through his bona fide spiritual master. And there are many other benefits in that relationship, not just the instructions like that. Simply by praying to the spiritual master, one can overcome obstacles in their devotional service. So there are many, many benefits. So one should understand that this is a regulative principle that must be followed. And not a spiritual master who is no longer physically present. Sometimes people say, well, you can, because you're spiritual and that person, although not present, is spiritual, therefore we don't need any physical or any kind of ceremonial arrangements to consummate a relationship. That's not true. And that's some concoction. And the reason that's there is that people are lazy and don't want to be guided by a spiritual master, so they can take someone who can't tell them what to do. And so that doesn't work. And nor will it ever work. So one should take a living spiritual master. As it says from that verse, Tadviri Pratipatena, one should fall flat in front of the spiritual master, get up, ask questions, not that, hi, how are you? How you doing? That's not a question you ask. Sometimes devotees, they only say, oh, when they see the spiritual master, they just start talking ordinary stuff. That doesn't really bring any kind of a connection between Krishna and the devotee if they simply approach the spiritual master in a very nonchalant or ordinary way. If the spiritual master says something on that level, they can respond, but they should not approach in that way, simply to make light of the relationship. Okay, so these are some things, and Ishwar Puri, when we were traveling in the area of Navadvip, we went to the residence of Ishwar Puri, and in that residence there's a lake now, and that lake was created because people kept coming to the place of Ishwar Puri and taking the dust of that place, that so many people took up so much earth from that place, because that's what Lord Chaitanya did. When Lord Chaitanya came there, he took some of that earth and he put it in his cloth, and it says also that he also ate it. And so others were following in the footsteps, and it became so much of a thing that a big hole was dug, and then later on they filled it up with water. Now they have a little kund there, so you can go there and see. So Lord Chaitanya set the example that the birthplace of one spiritual master is as good as the spiritual master. It's also worshipful. Okay, so we'll stop there for any further discussions on our subject matters. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much for highlighting the value of holy name, holy dham, and then Shri Ishwar Puri, and also spiritual master. I think that's the most important thing for all of us. Through spiritual master, everything is there. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. If you have any questions, any comments or realization, please unmute yourself, and also request everybody on this beautiful auspicious day of Ekadashi, and also Shri Ishwar Puri disappearance day. Please switch on your video, so you can also have mercy of Guru Maharaj. Hari Bol. Shridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you, as Vrindavanath Prabhu said too very nicely, that for enlightening us on all these different points. For our spiritual life, it's so important to understand. On this principle of serving the spiritual master, we hear about Vani and we hear about Vapu. And we hear that Vani Seva is more important than Vapu Seva. But when we get opportunity for Vapu Seva, we should be able to do whatever the spiritual master wants us to do. Is that correct?
Well, he's not there to order you around. He's there to see if you can, he can benefit you by engaging you in some service. It's not his business just to control the disciple. That's not the point. His business is to engage you in some service. And if there's not enough service, maybe some more service is needed. If there's some service that's going on, maybe some some additional service within that service, also helping us to fine-tune the quality of our service. So the spiritual master, yeah, usually in the Vani Sanghas, Vapu Sanghas, Vapu Sanghas, you sit, and usually Vapu is done with more than one person, generally, and then the spiritual master will speak something, and then there'll be some discussion, some questions. That is actually Vapu Sangha. Or in some cases, a person will come for some advice, practical or spiritual advice. That is also Vapu.
And of the two, Vani Seva, following the instructions, is more important than Vapu Seva, or
Well, you have to understand that statement in context. What it means is that when the Vapu is not there, the Vani is still alive. Vani keeps the connection, and Vapu is dependent on physical presence. So even Vani is alive even after the disappearance of either one, either the disciple or the guru. That Vani connection is the lifeline of the disciple that takes them back to Godhead.
so as long as we're trying to carefully follow the instructions, we will remain connected. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the connection. But you should always be sure you are. Therefore, questions are also important to understand in that relationship. Questions about Krishna, questions about devotional service, questions about philosophical teachings. All of these questions are, in line with one's spiritual progress.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you for all those clarifications.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you don't have that problem with questions. So for you, it's good. And I appreciate that, because by your questions, you inspire others to ask questions. And at the same time, you also inspire discussions on the subject matter. So those who ask questions actually are benefiting others, not only themselves.
Thank you for the reassurance, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Nancy, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so much. This is something that was going on in my mind for a few days about getting the instructions and serving spiritual master. I have been hearing lectures on Raghunath Das Goswami, and from the incident of the Hichida festival and understanding the spiritual intricacies which are inbuilt in that whole incident, I was myself very much inspired, even though I have heard many times from devotees that following Vani is more important. But then Maharaj, to come to the level of that maturity in spiritual life where we are following spiritual master's instruction very diligently with utmost sincerity during that journey, what I have found in myself is that whilst passing through that journey, sometimes when we hear these kind of lectures, we feel really inspired to have that connection with the spiritual master, which we should have through Vani. But as I said, that until you reach that stage, we really get inspired to do Vapu or even to get personal instructions, but not always we get personal instructions from the spiritual master, apart from mostly that you perform your sadhana sincerely. So sometimes you feel that gap, the urge is there. The spiritual master is correct in giving that instructions, but then I just feel that there is something lacking. There is some vacuum, and I'm trying to fill it, but then I keep getting the same instructions, whether it is senior devotees or whether it is spiritual master, that you just perform that sadhana, but there is only so much that you can get in a limited time period as far as your spiritual maturity is concerned, because it's a long process, it takes time. So how to understand that situation?
Yeah, what you say is correct in the way things play itself out, but you're looking for something more specific in relationship to guidance from the spiritual master. And in order to do that, you can be more specific and approaching the spiritual master with precise questions that are on your concern for your service or for your sadhana. So by doing that, you can get a clarification and also a guidance on how to proceed. Yeah, to be eager for Vapu is good, because Vapu helps to inspire Vani. That's why it's there. So yeah, try to ask questions or get guidance on something very specific instead of just just general Vapu. If you want to serve in a certain, maybe you'll have an idea to serve in a certain way, and you can also present that as a question to your spiritual master to get, approval and also guidance on how to carry it out.
Sure, Maharaj.
Yeah, so take advantage of the Vapu when it's available. And even if it's not so easily available, one can seek it out with a little effort. Like when Prabhupada was here, devotees would travel hundreds, sometimes even thousands of miles just to be with Prabhupada. When some devotees do that also, when there's a special occasion and there's some festival and their spiritual master is there, they also attend. But even more less festive times, we can take opportunities to to visit the spiritual master and get some darshan, and at the same time see what we can learn in terms of our own practice in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, I think what I find today is people want the spiritual master to come to them. And we do that. We do that. I'm in one place and you're a movable object. So if you're moving, come and move in my direction,
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, why don't you move in his direction once in a while too? That's also recommended.
Yes, that is true, Maharaj.
Are you in London?
Yes, I am in London. Diptesh is still in India, but yeah, I'm back in London.
I'll be in London on Wednesday at Shamlal's house. So you can come over there if you want.
Yes, I want to visit. It was there in my heart. Thank you for giving me the permission, Maharaj.
Yeah, please come along with Prabhu. Yeah.
Diptesh Prabhu is in India, Maharaj.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, please come.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little gathering at Shamlau's house. People can come around 6 o'clock in the evening for a few hours, for a couple hours.
Yes, on Wednesday, right?
Wednesday night.
Yes, Wednesday night. I'll be there, Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just doing a joint program with Radhanath Swami yesterday. We spoke about Bhakti Tirtha Swami, so that was nice.
Yes, we miss him, Maharaj. And Diptesh is in Belgaum right now. He went and visited Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj. So he's in Belgaum. He's leaving from there tomorrow.
Uh-huh. I have news that Radhanath Swami is scheduled to come to London at the very beginning of April. But it's right now, it's just one person's statement. So it might happen, it might not. Something you can look, maybe try to verify. Okay, so anything else?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, it's a great news to hear that you are coming to London. I send you a message, Guru.
Yeah, I'm on there for a couple hours on Wednesday night, and then I leave for India on Thursday morning.
Oh, too short visit.
Guru Maharaj, you're coming to Mayapur?
I'll be in Mayapur on the 5th evening.
Oh, Jai! Welcome, Guru Maharaj. Haribol.
I got some service for you, don't worry.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Yeah, I'll be arriving maybe late afternoon on the 5th. So
Your accommodation is taken care of, Guru Maharaj?
something is happening. Let's see. It's not finished yet, but let's see what Krishna arranges.
Okay.
Namrata Mataji, please go ahead.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. I'm already
Hey.
excited to do this.
I'm trying to go to Bhaktivedanta Hospital too while I'm there, so that'll happen later on in the month.
Maharaj, please let me know, maybe by email or something. When are you coming here? I'll try to do as much as possible.
Yeah, I can come to Giridhari's temple? It's Radha Giridhari, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right across the street from the hospital. So if I go to the hospital, I'll definitely go to the temple.
So after Mayapur, you are coming, or you're first landing to Mumbai?
Yeah, after Gaur Purnima.
After Guru Purnima, okay.
I'll be in Bombay at Radha Gopinath for Gaur Purnima. So if you are in that area. So yeah, I'm scheduled to give the Gaur Purnima lecture at Radha Gopinath on Gaur Purnima morning. So yeah, if you want to come at that time, it'll be crowded, but so,
Oh, Guru Maharaj, you'll be in Mumbai for Gaur Purnima?
yeah.
Oh.
Okay. That would be wonderful, Maharaj. I'll definitely come. But Maharaj, is it possible this time to, I would like to meet you personally also. I haven't met you personally.
Yeah, we can arrange that.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
let
you
you
very
know.
much.
As time goes on, we'll be able to arrange that.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm really excited.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I got this from GEV today. I went to the literature festival today.
Oh, you went to GEV?
Yes, Maharaj. So there was a literature festival arranged by the disciples of Radhanath Swami, Gaurang Darshan Das. Gaurang Das, His Grace Gaurang Das was also there. Shubha Vilas Prabhuji was there.
Oh,
Chaitanya. Yeah. So
wow,
fortunately,
nice.
I could attend the lecture of Gaurang Das and Shubha Vilas Prabhuji. 2 lectures I could attend, and I got some books, and then I had to show the area to my kid, so the Gaushala and all. So I explored there, but took a nice book, the Chaitanya Pravaha by Gaurang Darshan Das. So I thought
Yeah, that's an
before,
overview of the.
yeah. So
No.
before starting Chaitanya Charita, I thought I should read this once.
Yeah, I just received it also. It's an overview of Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah.
You can show that book, Mataji, once again. I have put the spotlight so every devotee can see
Yeah.
that. Jai. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
The Subodhini series were also nice, Maharaj, by Gauranga Darshan Das. But I felt I should finish this first, then I'll go on the others.
Subodhini series is Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yes, the Subodhini series of Bhagavatam.
That's for study.
Yes, Maharaj. I'm trying to do that.
That's for study. That's not for reading.
Yes, the flow charts and all were very nice. So I was thinking.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
I could talk to you forever about GEV, but I don't think this is the time right now. So. Okay. So anyone else would like to ask a question?
Sudha
Yes.
Mataji, please go ahead.
Sudha, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Then Pranam Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. So, Guru Maharaj, my question is about you mentioned like one must accept a spiritual master and take shelter, eventually become initiated. So, I have a question about initiation. I always have this feeling like when we go for initiation, definitely we are doing 16 rounds and following regulative principles. But apart from that, do we need to like have like at least subtle level? We do a lot of offenses. So do we need to purify ourselves or how because it's not good for the disciple and also for the spiritual master. So
Well, one has to be approved by their local authorities before they can come forward for initiation. So that approval is a evaluation program that we have set up, and that's going on around the world in most places, where you work under the guidance of a representative of the spiritual master known as your mentor or counselor. And once you reach a certain level of practice and development, you get recommended for initiation. And once that recommendation comes, then you're eligible to sit into the, come to the, so that's all you have to do. And so there's nothing offensive or about anything in the process. Once you get to the point of accepting initiation, then you go through the process. And then, as you said, you agree to chant 16 rounds every day on beads. Follow strictly the 4 regulative principles. Strictly adhere to Srila Prabhupada's teachings as a member of ISKCON. These are all requirements.
Okay, very much. Mhm.
Mhm.
So the
And
purification.
then you can either inquire how to serve, or if you're already doing some service, you can expand on that service.
Okay, very much. Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I have one question related to this initiation, Guru Maharaj. So, in between first initiation and second initiation, Guru Maharaj, there are certain processes. But besides those processes, like from the inner consciousness perspective, what exactly we need to change inside? So we feel that, yes, we are qualified for that, Guru Maharaj. Sorry.
Well, Brahminical initiation means that one is acting according to that standard. In other words, what does Brahminical mean? It means developing the qualities of the mode of goodness. Now, that's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and also in the Bhagavatam, the qualities of a Brahmana. So one should cultivate those qualities. If one doesn't have those qualities, then one actually it's pretentious to come for Brahminical initiation. Just like some people say, well, I need Brahminical initiation because they need a pujari in the temple, and therefore, please give me second initiation because I'm doing pujari work. I can do pujari work and help the temple out. But that's not a reason for second initiation. And that reason was brought up to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was here in 1976. And he immediately said, no, not like that. That's not a reason for giving second initiation. So one has to, during that period between first and second initiation, cultivate these qualities and try to become more and more expert at practicing these qualities. Because Brahman means, the qualities of a Brahman, not just, eligibility by time. Oh, I've been in the movements for so many years, therefore I should be Brahmin. No. And what else there is? And then also Brahman means patan, yajan, dana, pratigraha. One should know the scriptures. One should be able to speak the scriptures to others. One should worship the deity. One should also be able to instruct others how to worship the deity. One should give in charity, and one should also receive charitable gifts. These are the 6 activities of a Brahmana. We don't follow those all so strictly, as we put more importance on the qualities of a Brahmana. But we do, a Brahmin, he should know philosophy and be able to speak philosophy in any given time. And for grihastas, one should worship the deity. Does that help?
Definitely, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, it's a process. Practice these qualities. This is Sanat Sujata. In that particular treatise, it mentions 12 Brahminical qualities. And In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions 9 in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much. I can see, yeah, Madhi Mataji. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble appreciation. Maharaj, on this subject just now about Brahmin initiation, just need a little bit clarification and point of view. As rule the JBC saying to do Bhakti Sastri. So what I believe and what I think is Bhakti Sastri does help them to get to that consciousness and the qualities of Brahmanical qualities.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up. That is a requirement. It's ecclesiastical requirement. The society requires that as a feature or as a qualification for receiving second initiation. One has to have Bhakti Shastra accreditation. And as you mentioned, it helps develop the qualities also.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So that's important. Yeah, that's very important. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
So add that to your list, Vrindavanath. Bhakti Shastra accreditation.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. No, I was aware of that Bhakti Shastri, but I was more like, besides these processes, I was more concerned about the inner qualities. So thank you, Guru Maharaj, for highlighting those also. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Bhakti Shastra it starts outer and then it becomes inner.
Yes, that's true. It was a good experience, Guru Maharaj. We all completed here 12 devotees from this temple, like this. We completed Bhakti Shastri last month. So that was a good experience. So thank you, Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So Guru Maharaj, we don't have any further questions, any things on chat. But I will request like all the devotees, Guru Maharaj, if I may, to really please keep all the Ukrainian devotees in your prayers whenever we are chanting. They are really in difficult situations. Many are really, so please keep them in your prayers.
I just got a message from Devananda Pandit, and my disciple who's there. He's now has to live in the basement of his house because, the artillery is coming. And also Natalie, I don't know if you know Natalie, she's an aspiring disciple of mine also. She's about to have a baby too in about a week or two. She's on the verge of giving birth. So she's quite in distress because she's also in the midst of all of that. So please pray for the devotees there. And in general also. And there's a large exodus that are coming out of Ukraine into Europe. Hungary, the devotees in Hungary have set up Food for Life programs, and they're going to be feeding thousands of refugees. The devotees here in Croatia and in also Slovenia also are getting ready for that also.
Yeah, that's one good thing, Guru Maharaj, in this God Family WhatsApp group. Natali Mataji and also Prabhuji and everybody is sending their messages. So everybody's in touch, and there is a full support I can see from devotee from Poland, and as you said, from other countries also. So it's really good.
Good.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. This is Guru Bhakti. Please accept my humble obeisances. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry to interrupt this, but I've got bank details of Natalie, and I'm sort of trying to collect some Lakshmi to send it over to her. She has, through Avaduta Prabhu, I've got her bank details. So if any of the London devotees would like to send any Lakshmi to help them, because at the moment they can't work, food is very scarce, and obviously if we can help them with Lakshmi, we can't help in any other way apart from chanting and praying for them. So if anyone is interested in donating any Lakshmi, then please contact me.
My question is, can they access that Lakshmi once it's donated?
She has sent me her bank details, so I'm presuming that, you know, because they're not working, Guru Maharaj, at the moment, they can't have jobs or anything. So I'm presuming that I'm having faith that she will distribute it to whoever needs it.
Yeah, we'll find out if they're able to receive it.
Okay. Yes, Guru
Yeah.
Maharaj, we will do.
Okay.
Okay, Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
and now I'll see you on Wednesday, right?
Yes, I will do, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, and I'll be able to help out also.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Okay, thank you.
So Guru Maharaj, with your permission, can we also come to see you on Wednesday?
Yeah, come between, I'm 8 o'clock, I have to close everything down, become between 6 and 8.
Sure, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. So
Okay.
if
Thank
there is
you.
no any further questions, comments, then we can close Guru Maharaj today call. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anand Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, Srimati.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj.
So, yeah, so I'll be giving class to the next 3 days, I think.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
After
Tuesday,
that,
Tuesday will be
the-
Charlotte devotees, Guru Maharaj.
Right. Okay, good. I haven't forgotten about Dallas. Don't worry, I'll get there someday.
Jai Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
It's a place that actually I've been trying to get there for years. And I think I have this Dallas curse. Every time I make a plan to go to Dallas, something comes up and I don't get there for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe you can see if there's some curse that is hanging over Dallas or hanging over me that prevents me to get
I
to
don't know.
Dallas.
I don't know, Guru Maharaj, but I'll pray to Sri Radha Kalachandji that he'll allow you to come here.
Well, yeah, that's one of the main reasons to come is to see those beautiful, very tall deities.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah.
I think they're the biggest Radha Krishna deities in ISKCON.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My obeisances,
Thank
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.